The times they are a-changin', sang Bob Dylan in the 1960s. Americans lost interest in nostalgic ornaments. They wanted everything to be new, purchasing entire collections of ornaments and lights all at one time. Good housekeeping suggested that families pick new themes each year and purchase new ornaments to carry out these themes. The new fad of the decade was to flock your tree and decorate it with a monochromatic color scheme, then floodlight the tree with a blue or clear spotlight. The custom of a Christmas tree on the west lawn of the U.S. Capitol began in 1964. The first tree was a 24-foot Douglas fir, purchased for $700 from a Pennsylvania nursery. This planted tree continued in use for the next 3 years until the combination of wind and root damage made replacement necessary. In 1968 and 1969, Congress purchased a cut tree from private sources. Since then, the U.S. Forest Service has provided cut trees, some as tall as 60 feet, some from our national forests. Outside decorations became very popular in the 1960s. Americans purchased huge sets of lighted plastic figures, some as tall as 3 feet high. Many a yard would have a nativity scene on the lawn and Santa and his sleigh and reindeer on the roof. This photo was taken in Danbury, Connecticut. One famous Christmas display belonged to the Whipple family of Dayville. Mervyn R. Whipple began Christmas Winterland in the 1960s when he and his stepson decorated their lawn with a small village with a manger scene and a few lights. They admired the effort and made a promise that they would do this each Christmas. Only a short time later, the son was killed in an accident on the property. Mr. Whipple continued the tradition for nearly 40 years. The display grew so large that it took over the entire property and included hundreds of animations and several buildings of indoor displays. The 1970s saw a traditional Christmas return. The 1960s were a decade of change, but the 1970s were for nostalgia. Patterns for recreating ornaments used almost a century ago appeared in magazines. Oil embargoes at both the beginning and the end of the decade made Americans more energy conscious. There was a major reduction in the sale of Christmas lights, even though miniature lights use less electricity. New types of ornaments were created. Magi-Glow, solid red, white, blue, and green laminated plastic ornaments that glowed in the dark to offset the lack of electric lights. Plastic ornaments continued in popularity during the 70s. They were hung at the bottom of the tree and the fragile glass ones placed up high so that small children could not break them. This photo shows the 1977 Carter White House tree's country look. The country look dominated many Christmas trees in the 1970s. Gingham bows, dried flowers, fabric dolls, cornhusk girls, wooden ornaments, and a glazed set of bread dough ornaments decorated the trees of the 1970s. The natural look was in style, and the 70s saw the revival of the home-crafted decorations. The limited edition ornament became popular in the 1970s. In 1973, for example, the Hallmark Corporation introduced keepsake ornaments, and they were an immediate hit with the consumers. By 1979, there were commemorative ornaments for teacher, special friend, and baby's first Christmas. Collectible ornaments appeared in the 1980s. During that decade, Americans became fascinated with collecting all manner of objects: sports cards, stamps, autographs, dolls, just about anything that was portable. Not surprisingly, ornaments became the #1 Christmas collectible. The Hallmark Corporation of Kansas City recognized this trend early on and began to manufacture special Christmas ornaments in limited editions. Christmas ornament collectors clubs emerged during the 1980s, and they generated a huge increase in the market for limited edition ornaments. Hallmark continues to design and manufacture new and creative collectible ornaments every year. Christmas decorating gained immense popularity in the 80s, almost like the early Victorian era with more decorations. The better. Americans returned to the past in their decorating schemes, recreating thousands of past ornaments. The 1980s emphasis on decorating was nostalgic, family-centered Christmas ornaments. Ornaments were more than just decorative. They also brought seasonal memories. Theme trees were the trend of the 80s, and Victorian, Southwestern, or nautical designs were all popular. Ornaments were once again sold individually, and they were more expensive than ever. Electronic gadgets were the latest fad with Americans, and Americans rushed out to buy the latest invention, a walking Santa ringing a bell. Department stores created trim-a-home departments, catering to people who were spending more to lavishly adorn their homes and trees. Malls decorated extensively and early to attract shoppers. Stores began to set up their displays by the middle of October to cash in on Christmas sales. As expected, the decade proved to be a golden age for Christmas retailers.
Christmas tree farms developed in the 1980s in response to the wish to renew the tradition of the family going together to select and cut down their own Christmas tree. Live Christmas trees have become an important part of Connecticut agriculture. Many acres, which formerly supported the dairy industry, have been converted to tree plantations, helping to preserve open space in Oxford and elsewhere. Besides making an important contribution to the environment, the farms provide fresh trees that hold their needles longer than those shipped in from other areas of the country. Christmas is both a family and a community celebration. This decade brought renewed interest in displays of miniature towns and villages. At the turn of the century, the retail season began even before the Halloween merchandise was gone. People decorated their houses earlier than ever and left the decorations up longer. No shopping day compared with the day after Thanksgiving, when many rushed to stores before sunup to get some bargains on Black Friday. Themed trees continue to be popular. There is a Christmas ornament to represent most anything, even the Yukon women's basketball team. The holiday season of Thanksgiving and Christmas were changed by the COVID-19 global pandemic in 2020. With the CDC discouraging travel and group or even family gatherings, the holidays will be different this year. Time will tell how Americans will celebrate and remember the holidays of this difficult era, but they will be memorable. Christmas celebrations have developed through the influence of immigrants, social reformers, and changing times. Christmas has been much changed since the early days when the Puritans suppressed the holiday because of supposed pagan extravagance. Today, Connecticut people include different races, cultures, and religions. Some might now fear that Christmas is under attack by secularists, and that the 2020 pandemic will further impair the celebration. However, the true holiday spirit of Americans has always found a way. As the celebrations become more and more diverse, this year provides a reason for new or modified celebrations. So, whatever your religious tradition or beliefs, however you and yours decide to spend the holiday season, this is the right time to wish for peace on earth, goodwill to all. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Joyous Kwanzaa, and more generically, Happy Holidays.